You're watching coverage of the 2015 10th Annual Biannual Board Gaming Decathlon, a presentation of the CubeSpire Network brought to you in part by the following board game broadcasters. Thank you for your support and participation. Welcome to the CubeSpire's continuing coverage of the 2015 10th Annual Biannual Board Gaming Decathlon. I am your host for the ceremonies, Chaz Marler of Pair of Dice Paradise. And joining me this year as co-host is my neighbor, Mick Spicerack.
I've never played a board game in my life.
Well, you're here to help lend a fresh perspective to the hobby.
Remember, you promised that if I help you with this, you'll stop parking on my lawn.
That too, yeah. All right.
So what's a board game decathlon anyway?
All right! Glad you asked. For those of us who don't know, the Board Game Decathlon is the industry's largest biannual board gaming competition, where players from all over the world will come to compete for fame, glory, and fantabulous prizes.
I don't understand.
Well, what's not to understand?
You have a perfectly good garage. Why don't you park in it? Why do you have to keep parking on my flower bed?
No, I meant, what don't you understand about the Board Game Decathlon?
I don't know, I wasn't really listening.
Well, to help explain how the Board Game Decathlon works, we're joined now by professional board game explainerist Rodney Smith of Watch It Played, who has prepared an instructional overview of how the Board Game Decathlon works.
Hi everyone, my name is Rodney Smith from Watch It Played, and I've been very kindly invited to help bring some clarity to the newly introduced tournament rules for this year's biannual 10th Annual Board Gaming Decathlon. Over 1,000 gamers apply to join, but due to limited seating, the organizers are using the highly successful Gen Con housing lottery method to assign players to tables, meaning of course only about 200 of the participants will actually get seats. The rest will play the tournament from the floor, get frustrated, and likely reconsider attending next year. Players will be paired with opponents based on the relative size of their recorded board game collections. Expansions do count towards a player's total, promos don't, unless the promo is an expansion, but not if that promo expansion was a Kickstarter exclusive. Games will last no longer than the recommended time written on the box, as that play length is always more than enough. The winner of the first game will advance to the next if they can play and win the game against themselves in a follow-up game using the solo rules. Now, if solo rules do not exist for that game, the player will just be required to create them. Winners will continue to advance from round to round, stopping at the 5th game of the tournament, where in a surprise twist, only the biggest loser of that game will advance to the 6th round. Now, in the 7th round, the winners will again advance, but this time they will play the game blindfolded. The second place winners from the last game, which would actually be the second biggest losers, are paired with the winners, which were the biggest losers, and then they'll talk their partners through what's actually happening visually in the game. Now, this is always very exciting, but I have been told medics will be on hand this year to respond to any medical emergencies due to partners turning violent against one another, which, as we found out last year, is inevitable. The final winner of the tournament will be announced at the end of the final round, and if there is a tie, the player with the most gold wins. If the game does not involve gold, then the player with the most actual gold on their person is the winner.
Is that really how it works?
Not even close.
Now, before I let you go, we have some exciting players in the lineup this year. Many of them you'll be familiar with, as this tournament is full of repeat players. But there is one new player who is rumored to be calling out all challengers. A new contender, Murr Rockstroh, has really come onto the scene strong, and although he'll be going up against several veterans this year, he's hoping to bring home the gold. Which, whether he wins or not, will still be true for everyone. Really, you're all responsible for bringing home your own tie-breaking gold from the event. Organizers will not be shipping it home for you. Well, that's everything you need to know about the tournament. Until the next one, Thanks for watching.
Rodney was absolutely right, because the real surprise in the first round of this year's decathlon was definitely Murr.
This guy came out of nowhere. Nobody saw this coming, especially not me, because I don't know who any of these people are.
Murr's climb towards the top all started back in round 1 with the first of 10 games, Ora et Labora.
Ora et Labora? That's the name of a board game? I thought it was some sort of severe typo.
No. Ora et Labora is similar to Rosenberg's Le Havre, except that instead of cards and tiles, it uses a numbered rondelle to manage the influx of resources.
I don't know what any of those words meant. All I know is I'm sick of finding your Subaru parked in my daffodils.
Well, speaking of people who aren't going to get what they want, Murr's first opponent of the day, Dice Tower podcast co-host Eric Summerer, recently discussed with me the details of his first round loss to Murr.
Oh, Murr. How could I forget Murr? I mean, one and done, pretty much. He was the beginning and the end of my competition experience. So, part of the problem was that I was in totally the wrong mindset for the whole game. I saw it on the schedule. I saw Ora et Labora. And for whatever reason, I just assumed it was a severe typo, and I went in expecting Libertalia.
Well, for somebody who went in expecting the wrong game, you certainly lost by less than expected. Especially for you.
Yeah, well, eventually I got into the proper mindset. I focused on the problem, the idea that I needed to have the right game in front of me. But Murr was just, every time I needed a resource, he would take it immediately before me. I don't know how he managed to keep them all straight to begin with. You got the sheep, you got the wood, you got all the gold. My head was spinning with all these resources spinning around that rondel. He had all these buildings flipped and upgraded, and I had just a bunch of moors and forests. I never had a chance.
An interesting turn of events in the very first round of the decathlon. But then it was on to round number 2, where the remaining players paired up to face off in Castles of Burgundy.
Oh, is that the game where you design castles for Mad King Ludwig?
No, that's Caverna. In Castles of Burgundy, players will go...
I've lost interest.
Oh. Well, this may recapture your interest, because it appears that former Castles of Burgundy champion and statistical favorite, Joel Eddy of Drive-Thru Reviews, was eliminated in record time. Let's find out exactly what went wrong.
So there we are, a couple of rounds in the Castles of Burgundy. He plays this yellow tile. It says a special ability. Each player must order a large salad, and the first player to finish the salad gets 100 points. And I just had lunch. All the other players were snacking during the whole game. And here's Murr over here. He gets a big salad and he just pounds the salad. And of course, this salad has everything in it. It's got tomatoes, it's got croutons, different kinds of cheeses, bacon bits, sunflower seeds, romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, olives, strawberries, pineapple, pepperoni, croutons, various types of egg, all kinds of stuff. It's just tons of stuff in the salad. Carrots. And he plows right through it like he'd done this before. So he gets in there, he gets 100 points, and he's got this 100-point lead, and after that we could never recover.
Murr again? That's quite a coincidence. Sounds like we're starting to see a trend here.
We certainly are. This Murr is a point-pushing powerhouse, because by round 3, it seemed that nobody could stand in his way. Not podcasters, not even the designers of games themselves. This is what happened when board game designer Ignacy Trzewiczek went head-to-head against Murr in Imperial Settlers, one of his very own designs.
Yeah, so I met Murr at a convention, and at that point I had a prototype of Why Can't We Be Friends expansion for Imperial Settlers, and he told me that he knows the game and he likes Imperial Settlers, so I thought, I can play with him. And I got this idea that I will create a deck of cards for my faction, Roman factions, using Why Can't We Be Friends cards. to make it better, and he will play only the base game, so I can test if the decks with the expansions are much better than the base games. I knew that I would crush him. Okay, after the first round, he had some advance, according to me. But well, I said, I know my deck, I'm a designer, I have this card from Why Can Be Friends expansion, so okay, let him have some fun in this first round, and then I will crush him. So after the second round, it was hard for me to catch up, and I was a little bit worried, but man, I knew what I'm doing. I'm the designer of the game, I have this great deck with all these expansion great cards, and he has just a base game, so I knew that I will catch him. Yes, he won. He said, oh, I didn't even need the expansion card to win. That wasn't nice. I told him, if you are that smart as, I will not bring Why Can Be Friends to States. That's why it's a delay. Everybody's asking, where's Why Can Be Friends? Everybody in Europe has the expansion already. We publish it in Europe in November. So November, December, January, everybody's plays in Europe. You in States? Sorry, ask Murr. Ask him, because he said, well, I don't need this expansion cards. Okay, so you don't need them, so you don't have them. Murr is a great player. I had a great time playing with him. I respect that he beat... Murr is a great player. And he plays very well. Even though he doesn't have expansion cards. He can't beat me even if he has only a base card from the base game. You know what? No Why Can Be Friends in States. No way. And I'm done.
Sounds like Murr's winning streak was starting to have a psychological effect on his opponents.
Your suspicions about Murr may be confirmed, because I just received this report that Murr has just beaten Michael of NVS Gameplays in an epic game of Lords of Vegas. Let's join him for a post-game follow-up to find out exactly what happened.
Alright, let's just get one thing straight here. Lords of Vegas was supposed to be my game. I came into this decathlon with only one thing on my mind. I was going to be the Lord of Vegas. I came prepared. I bought 14 copies of the game. I stayed on the forums for like 6 straight days. I even flew out to spend 2 weeks with Mike Selinker, one of the creators of the game. I was sure that I was going to win. But then, here comes Mr. Rockstroh. It only took one turn of the game for me to realize a couple of my mistakes. First of all, I actually didn't read the rule book. Murr crushed me harder than a poorly built igloo. When he built like his 50th level 4 casino to secure a monopoly on the Vegas Strip, I knew that I was in trouble. I was in a sorry state with no clue how to get out of it. It boggles my mind how quickly he had me scrabbling. And anything that I could think of at this point was just a mere trivial pursuit. I don't know what it was in me, but I just snapped. I scream out in frustration, I get up and I flip the board. There's casinos scattered everywhere, flying dice poked out 3 eyes from the spectators. I am in a rage. And I look over at Murr, and he just gets up out of his seat calmly, tips his hat to me and says, "Good game." Good game to you, sir. And, I hope that on your next game, maybe you'll be able to feel what it's like to get crushed under a snowshoe. This was my game. I was supposed to win. This isn't fair.
It seems Murr's competitors were starting to come apart at the seams.
Oh, so true. And no competition better demonstrated this than the next one, when Murr went head-to-head against Marty Connell from the Rolling Dice and Taking Names podcast, with devastating results. Here, Marty describes the ordeal in his own words.
Before becoming a nutcracker aficionado, I used to be a board gamer. I played tons of games and even had my own board game podcast. But that's until I played Murr in that Board Game Decathlon. I'll never forget it. We played Istanbul, not Constantinople. And Murr was a gaming machine. The way he moved his merchants around, dropping off and picking up his assistants. The way he focused on just a few tiles to buy this incredible resource generating machine. But that wasn't enough for him. He would then go around and capture my family members and send them to jail. Why, Murr? Why? They were just going to the market to sell some fruit so I could get a bigger wheelbarrow. Meanwhile, he takes his large wheelbarrow to the mosque, claims his mosque tile by showing he has 4 of one resource, but he only has to pay 1. He only has to pay 1, Chaz. After I realized I could never reach the level of Murr, I vowed never to play board games again. So I went home in a fit of rage, trashed all my board games, cardboard, meeples everywhere. But in the corner of the room, I catch a glimpse of a sympathetic eye. He understood my rage, my pain, my loss. He took me into his group of friends and they accepted me for who I am, lowly Murr fodder. But now I've got a new passion. I even started a podcast called Cracking Nuts and Taking Names, but yet I don't think I'll ever get over that loss to Murr. As much as I replayed that game over and over in my mind, I just couldn't figure out his brilliance. He's one tough nut to crack.
That was quite a reaction. What kind of effect does this Murr have on people that would make losing to him have this result?
I wouldn't read too much into it. I'm pretty sure that Marty was unstable before this whole thing even started.
Yeah, fair enough.
But at this time, Murr's performance was starting to cause quite an uproar. And so the remaining podcaster participants proposed a plan to stop this mysterious meeple mashing machine, Murr.
A desperate attempt to mitigate Murr's momentum?
Exactly, yeah. They enacted an emergency protocol buried deep within the Decathlon bylaws, changing the semifinals to a lightning round in which a dozen different games would be played back to 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 front.
Did this incredibly well thought out plan work?
Well, Forrest of Bauer's Game Corner was there, and he recounts the results of the lightning round.
Oh man, let me tell you, we started off playing Small World, and he chose a race. I'm trying to think what the race was. I can't even remember. He started off with 8 pieces, 8, and then he ended up not declining. We were like, oh, he's gonna decline. He's gonna decline. He didn't decline the whole game. He ended up winning by 3 points, and he wasn't dealing with skeletons or anything either. He just didn't decline, and we were like, oh, we won't even attack him, and that's when we started calling him Murr Rockstroh. Name that kind of stuck for a little while. After that, we busted out the Twilight Imperium, and I was ready. That was my game. I had my Snuggie on, my shoes off. I was ready. He destroyed everyone in the galaxy in 45 minutes. The judges thought he was cheating. He thought we were all in cahoots with him. We're just like, no, Murder and Murr is just amazing. So next, they had Nightmare Chess, and I was like, okay, get me head to head. I want to go mano a mano with Murr Rockstroh. He took me out in 4 moves. That's when he got the nickname Miraculous Rockstroh. It didn't catch on very well. Played a little Ticket to Ride next, took a little light route. He ended up scoring 212 points, completed 10 tickets, longest route, most tickets. He strung it all together. I didn't think it was possible, but he soloed Hanabi. So then we played Coup, and let me tell you, we were game planning at the beginning of Coup. We're like, all right, we're taking down Murr. Murr, please stop following me. Rockstroh, you are going down. He still finished the game with both of his cards up. I don't know how he did it. I don't understand it. We played King of Tokyo next. He won the game, of course, but he scored 20 and knocked everybody out in the same round. He said he wanted to be very thorough. That's where we got the nickname Murr Rockin' the Wizard Table 1995 Stroh. That nickname did not last very long. It wasn't a very good nickname. Well, I'm just tired of just getting slapped around by Murr. And ended with me keying his card. And then the final game we played, Sheriff Nottingham, one of my favorite games of last year, and well, I thought I was doing really good. Murr only ended up winning by 2 points. But what's most incredible, the final round of the game, he opened his bag and there was an actual crossbow in it. That bag's like this big. I don't know how he fit it in there. It was a little bit mind-boggling. So needless to say, Murr kind of dominated that day. That's where he got the nickname Murr Rockstroh. And yeah, it was a long day.
And so, emerging from the lightning round unscathed, Murr won his seat in the final game of the decathlon, the game that would decide the event's champion. But while the final event was being prepared, a bevy of board game broadcasters launched an investigation to take a closer look into this mysterious Murr Rockstroh in an attempt to uncover the secret of his resiliency, how he keeps popping up again and again like a bed of unstoppable daffodils that you keep parking your SUV on.
That's it, I'm building a fence.
The probe was conducted while preparations were being made for the final championship game of the decathlon.
What'd they do? Contact the authorities? Hire a private investigator? Launch an inquiry through the NSA?
Any one of those would have been really good. No, they just looked him up on social media.
Elegant. What'd their extensive research reveal?
Well, not much. For example, Murr's Facebook page consists entirely of a single post stating, "I hate Facebook."
So it could have been anyone's Facebook page.
Yeah. But they also combed through other websites like Board Game Geek and WebMD looking for clues.
What'd they find?
Well, let's start with Tiffany Ralph from The One Tar, who focused on the pugs present in Murr's Board Game Geek avatar.
Purebred dogs give people an advantage. If you own a purebred dog and you build a solid relationship with that dog and you work with that dog and you train with that dog, you can take out any human. You can beat any human. It doesn't work with mutts. I have a corgi. I have a purebred corgi. She is a full pedigree. She's related to the queen's dog. It's basically royal. She is actually royalty. Yeah, Ichi is the secret to my success. Oh, she doesn't want me sharing this, apparently. If you work and train with a dog, you pick up those senses. And you can use that to your advantage in tournaments like this. And that's what Murr's doing. He's using pugs. Yeah. I mean, corgis are royalty. They're up there, but pugs, man, pugs are an ancient, purebred line. If you have a connection with pugs, let alone a slew of pugs, no one's gonna stand a chance. You can't hide anything from them. And the government knows. The government knows about this. Those dogs, each of those breeds has a thing, that makes them special and unique for that task. And you know what? Pugs, turns out, pugs are great for board gaming. Purebred dogs, they give people an advantage in gaming. I thought I was the only one, but it turns out I'm not.
But, at the same time talks of crits happened, hypothesized that Murr had harnessed the power of rock and roll.
Murr has beaten everyone. I mean, everybody he comes into contact with. And it set me down the path to try and understand what was happening. Because, let's face it, I'm good. I'm very good. I play a lot of board games. But the reality of the situation is there are people that Murr is beating that he just should not beat. So I started doing some research. And it's a social media world, right? I mean, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Instagram, it's Instabook, it's whatever it may be. And there's lots of stuff out there. And it took some time, but I had this inkling when I had first met Murr that there was something different about him, something intangible, something almost otherworldly at times, which was very concerning. So I have the smoking gun, and I have figured it out. Everyone thinks Murr is a very nice guy, and he is. But there's a secret behind Murr. The secret is right here in this photograph. As you can see, it's Murr in a picture with the entire greatest rock and roll band of history, Kiss. And he is holding hands ceremoniously. You'll notice this is not a handshake. This is not a high five. It's not even the ball and socket. This is Murr getting his powers transferred from Gene Simmons, the demon himself, who many people don't actually know. He was named after a patron saint. It was Saint Gene. He was, I'm sorry, I'm getting away from myself. Murr is getting his powers from the most evil lead singer. Now, you may ask yourself, where did this happen? And why is Paul Stanley approving it? Thumbs up. Look what the shirt that Murr is wearing. He is wearing a 25th anniversary Disney shirt. This is the key right here. He's at Disney World, the most evil place on earth, getting his powers transferred from the demon. This is it. And I guarantee you, it is not photoshopped.
And so, with so many rumors just flying around about Murr, when the time came for the competitors for the final game of the decathlon to take their seats, the tension in the air was palatable.
Palatable? Really? What did it taste like?
Apple strudel Pop-Tarts and squeezy cheese.
The horror.
The final event would be a game known for its multiple levels of complex, layered strategy. A no-holds-barred, winner-take-all game of Get Bit.
The deluxe edition?
Original.
The horror.
Here's how it works. Each player will start the game with a robot in their color and a matching hand of cards, numbered 1 through 7. Each turn, all players will secretly select a card from their hand and then reveal them all simultaneously. Their swimming robots are then arranged numerically in a line, with the robot of the player who played the highest numbered card up in front. Then, after all the robots have been arranged, the insatiable shark attacks the unlucky bot at the end of the line, chomping off one of its limbs. A robot that loses all 4 limbs is out of the game, and the player with the last robot left afloat is the winner. The competitors for this final event included Anthony McCree from Rolling Dice and Taking Names, Hunter Shelburne of Weaponsgrade channel, Rhiannon Ochs of Spooning Meeples, Mark Streed of Board Game Corner, Tom Vasel of the Dice Tower, and, of course, Murr Rockstroh of introduced earlier in this episode. Rick of Let's Level Up served as judge over the final event, and here he describes what he saw.
I mean, the tension in the room itself was just absolutely incredible. Looking around, you had a proverbial who's who of gaming there at the table, and playing a game like Get Bit, it doesn't get more tense than that. There's a lot of room for strategy as the game is going on, and I could see that our player really knew how to work the table. Not just play the game, but play the players at the table. I thought everybody was having a great time until Hunter broke down crying. There comes a time in every young gamer's life where they really have to take a stand. A stand against evil, a stand for what's right. But more importantly, a stand for what they believe in, for what we all believe in. A better future for gaming. A world where players can gather around the table and just have fun. I believe it was Einstein that said 80% of Get Bit's strategy revolves around 50% luck and 107% street smarts. I mean, the only outrage of the entire night was the fact that I wasn't there at the table. I mean, come on. Who gets bit without me? 'Cause I'll bite you.
Well, by this time, everybody was just terrified of Murr. And perhaps their fears were unfounded, or perhaps his achievements in the decathlon had made him into a target. All I know is that he was the first to get bit. And then, in an unlucky stroke of fate, subsequently, bit together. let's find out more from the very people who competed in that legendary game.
You know, I thought Murr's luck was fixing to run out, but then something amazing and wonderful happened.
I'd never seen anything like it. It was a thing of real beauty.
It wasn't beautiful. It was horrible.
Murr led a cunning play that caused Hunter to get bit 4 times in a row.
And just like that, he was out.
Yeah, that's the risk you take in the high-stakes world to get bit. But I did get this nice prize for 6th place. It's a copy of Ora Labora, but it has a severe typo on the cover. Must be a collector's item.
With Hunter out of the game, it was time for me to make my move.
And then boom, Anthony was out.
That could have gone better, but instead I ended up 5th overall, and I thought I was going to get this great Reiner Knizia game, you know, something about moon, but like blue moon, but it ended up being a moon pie.
Murr was starting to make a comeback. We'll see about that.
And then Tom systematically destroyed Mark.
What? Seriously?
That's right. Tom pulled the old switcheroo. That's where you say you're going to target one player, but then do everything you can to ruin Mark Streed's day instead. Even if you're not playing a game.
What? Seriously? I was out, awarded 4th prize instead. Gift certificates to a defunct Korean barbecue of all things. That scholarship slipped right through my fingers.
Scholarship?
I may have told Mark that we were playing for a full scholarship to an Ivy League college.
Down to 3. Round after round, the 3 seafaring gladiators played and countered. Limbs were flying, sharks were gnashing, and then...
I was eliminated, but I did get 3rd prize. I'm so nervous. I can't wait to see what it is. It is a scholarship to an Ivy League school. I can't wait to tell Mark.
2 watery warriors remained. Murr, already down to 2 limbs, and Tom, heretofore unscathed. Yes, heretofore is a word. Didn't even make my spell checker go off. Heretofore. It was a dance of 2 masters, each trying to gauge what the other one was going to do next. And then Tom lost a limb. Bam! The pressure was on. And then, bam! He lost another limb. And then, bam. Now, at possible match point, the 2 combatants paused to consider their fate.
How big a scholarship?
And then, a gasp from the gathered crowd as BAM! Murr loses his 2nd to last limb.
That is annoying.
Just like that, Murr got the upper hand, and I hate to tell people this, but I lost. No, I didn't. I totally beat him. No, actually I lost. But I did get 2nd prize, which came with this autographed business card from Tom Vasel.
Well, there you have it. Yeah. In a stunning upset, Murr scored the final bite against Tom, and in doing so, not only became the champion of the 2015 10th Annual Biannual Board Gaming Decathlon, but also inadvertently revealed the secret to his board gaming grandeur.
How so?
Don't you see the common thread? The talent, the dogs, kiss? Now, what makes Murr unstoppable? It's his unique blend of sax, pugs, and rock and roll.
You're an idiot.
This concludes our coverage of the 2015 10th Annual Biannual Board Gaming Decathlon. And I'd like to say thanks to all of the board game personalities that contributed to our coverage, and to all of our viewers, and of course, to the man of the hour, our champion, Murr Rockstroh. We have been your hosts, Chaz Marler and Mick Spice Rack, and from everybody at Pair of Dice Paradise Studios, good night.
I want my rototiller back too.
I may have given that away.
Well, I wasn't in the decathlon, and I've never met Mr. Murr. I'm just here to make this cameo. And now it's done.